This is KVUE News Daybreak.
We may get a little more clarity today on how the state of Texas handles transgender high school athletes. The two proposals being considered today. And a report claims the president considering firing the person in charge of the Russian investigation this morning. What White House officials are saying about the case. And a new stunning report about SUVs and their safety, how the headlights could actually be putting you at risk. Well, good morning to you, and thank you so much for watching KVUE News Daybreak at 4:30. I'm Brandon Jones. We want to get a check of the Tuesday morning weather right now with Storm Team Meteorologist Erica Lopez. Good morning, Erica. Good
morning. It's a warm start for many of us across central Texas. Check out your current temperatures right now at Austin, 77 degrees. That's a warm up from yesterday morning. But Georgetown, you're in the upper 70s. Also, lower 70s and still some 60s for Mason, currently at 69 degrees. But again, 70s is pretty much the story here in central Texas this morning. Closer to the coast, the same. Our coolest spot right now, Amarillo, at 73 degrees. Here's a live look just outside of the KVUE studios. Dew points at 73 degrees, so it's even stickier than yesterday morning and also on the warmer side. Keep in mind relative humidity on the high side all day long. That's why we do have a 20% chance of an isolated shower, not only for this morning but also this afternoon. Highs in the 90s, but another day with heat index values in the triple digits. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Erica. Well, Austin ISD board members burned the midnight oil overnight trying to iron out the details for November's bond proposal. The almost $1 billion bond is not finalized yet, but they're hoping to do that later this week. The version discussed last night offered 14 new and remodeled schools and upgrades to many others, but left out important projects there. The reason we're told is that they're trying to keep it under the $1 billion mark. Under means no tax increase. Over means a definite property tax hike.
We've now gone around and said, okay, we want to have a majority have said one proposition, no tax rate increase. Now the question is, how do we fill that jar up? How do we fill that? How do we fill that up? And do you want to do it by putting some sand, big rocks first?
Now, there will be another meeting Wednesday to hopefully finalize the proposed bond there. Well, this morning, Capitol Hill is preparing for another big day of testimony. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is set to testify in front of the Senate committee, also investigating Russian meddling in the U.S. election. ABC's Kenneth Moten reports.
This morning, a Trump confidant making a stunning admission.
Well, I think he's considering perhaps terminating the special counsel.
Chris Rudy, CEO of conservative Newsmax, told PBS NewsHour President Trump may order Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein to get rid of Robert Mueller, the special counsel investigating alleged collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia.
I think he's weighing that option. I personally think it would be a very significant mistake, even though I don't think there's a justification.
The White House pushing back, saying that's not the case, and Rudy does not speak for the president. But senior aides confirm Rudy met with Chief Strategist Steve Bannon yesterday.
Welcome to the Department of Justice.
Today, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, forced to recuse himself from overseeing the Russia investigation, set to testify on Capitol Hill.
And nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Sessions expected to take on allegations of perjury during his confirmation hearings for failing to disclose meetings with Russia's ambassador and his role in the firing of FBI Director James Comey. Last week, Comey told the same committee during an Oval Office meeting, President Trump asked Sessions and others to clear the Oval Office.
My sense was the Attorney General knew he shouldn't be leaving, which is why he was lingering.
Comey says once they were alone, Trump asked him to drop the investigation into ex-National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. The Attorney General is expected to invoke executive privilege to keep from publicly discussing his private conversations with the president. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
A federal appellate court has blocked President Trump's revised travel ban again. It was a unanimous decision by a 3-judge panel. They say the president's ban violates U.S. immigration law. They say it also discriminates based on a person's nationality. The judges also ruled that President Trump failed to prove immigrants entering the U.S. would hurt Americans. The administration plans to take the issue to the Supreme Court. Well, Governor Greg Abbott signed the 2018-2019 budget on Monday. Out of $216 billion in spending, Abbott decided to make about $120 million in cuts. He cut funding for a program that helps low-income Texans repair or replace high-emission vehicles, a program that hands out bonuses to retailers who sell large jackpot tickets, and measures that pay for bicycle and carpool awareness programs. And speaking of the governor, out-of-school suspensions are officially banned here in Texas. Abbott signed House Bill 674 into law yesterday. Now, this law applies to students pre-K through second grade. It also prohibits home suspensions, expulsions, or alternative disciplinary programs for these young students, except in cases involving drugs, weapons, or extreme violence. Governor Abbott says he hopes to send the message that Texas wants children to be educated and not in jail. Happening today, state leaders are going to talk about transgender high school athletes. The University Interscholastic League oversees high school sports in the state. A speaker for Equity Texas will be at their meeting this morning, asking for the current rules to be changed. The issue hit the national spotlight earlier this year because of Mac Beggs. He identifies as a man and takes testosterone as part of his transition, but he isn't allowed to wrestle boys. He won the girls' state wrestling championship earlier this year. Now, current UIL rules state a student's gender is determined based on the sex listed on the student's birth certificate. An Austin pastor is in jail this morning accused of sexually assaulting a child. Police arrested 59-year-old Ruben Garcia in Buda yesterday. Garcia is an associate pastor at Batania Baptist Church. That's in Southeast Austin. He's charged with 2 counts of sexual assault of a child and 1 count of indecency with a child by sexual contact. Now, police are asking to hear from anyone who believes their child may have inappropriate contact with the pastor there. The couple charged with a murder and a fatal beating at a Denny's near Houston are due in court today. Harris County Deputy Shauna Thompson and her husband Terry are accused of choking John Hernandez to death about 2 weeks ago. Investigators say the incident started after the husband saw Hernandez relieving himself outside of a restaurant. Hernandez's family filed a civil lawsuit against the couple yesterday. Well, today we could learn the name of the person killed in a deadly wreck on I-35 in Kyle last night. Officers say a moving truck slammed into the back of an 18-wheeler. The passenger in the moving truck died. Medics transported the driver to the hospital. That driver and the driver of the 18-wheeler are expected to be okay. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. Excuse me, their crew shut down the highway for about 4 hours while they investigated. The highway is back open this morning. Well, if you drive an SUV, you may want to listen to this morning. A new test finds that most mid-size SUVs have unsafe headlights. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety tested a total of 37 mid-size SUVs, and more than half of them didn't measure up to the test. They either didn't light up on the road there or were enough to cause a glare for oncoming drivers. Now, 2 received a good rating, 12 were rated acceptable, another 12 were rated marginal, and 11 were rated poor. The 2017 Kia Sorento had the worst visibility. The group recommends buying vehicles with headlights rated good or acceptable. You can head to our website, KVUE.com, to find out which vehicles made the cut. What time now for a check of weather? And Erica, it's going to be a hot one out there today.
That's right. Day 2 of a toasty week in store for us here in Central Texas. Here's a look at the temperatures that you're waking up to this morning. We're off to a warm start. Already in the 70s for the hill country. The last several days, and normally you've been waking up to temps in the 60s, so keep in mind it's also sticky out there with dew points and humidity levels on the high side. Austin at 77 degrees. We're closer to 80 degrees this morning in areas such as Georgetown, Buda, than 70-degree mark, but plenty of mid to upper 70s for the eastern counties also. Here's how today is going to play out. Now, we do still have a 10 to 20% chance of a possible shower today. The reason for that, still lots of Gulf moisture with a south wind in place. So keep in mind, on top of the heat index values that will be close to 100 degrees today, and isolated showers possible from this morning to this afternoon. Also overnight tonight, another muggy evening is in store, partly cloudy and still a 20% chance of a possible shower before 9 p.m. But I'm tracking a long stretch of heat index values on the dangerous side. I'll let you know just how warm it will feel for the next several days later this morning. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much. With yours in the Bill Cosby sexual assault trial will be back at a Pennsylvania courthouse at 7:30 this morning to resume deliberations. The case was handed to the jury yesterday. They say suspended deliberations last night after 4 hours in a jury room there. Now, Cosby's defense took just 6 minutes to make its case, calling just one witness. The comedian arrived at court with his wife, Camille Cosby. It was her first appearance at that trial.
I think what the defense is trying to do is saying, she's forgiven him, so maybe you can too.
Now, we're told that Camille sat showing no emotion while the defense gave a fiery closing argument. Cosby's attorney acknowledged that he was an adulterer, but argued that he was not a criminal. The trial is expected to last about 2 weeks, but came to a close on day 6. If convicted, Cosby could spend the rest of his life in jail there. Well, with Greg Kelly's case now in question, one of the jurors who convicted him is having second thoughts. What he's saying about where the case stands now.